Hi guys, welcome and welcome back. I hope you guys are all doing well. Now today this is going to be collective messages and personal because it's pretty much the same thing, the same energy, because right now these secret societies, these cults and governments, the NPCs, they're all on the same frequency and they're all doing the same thing. They are so desperate. So I want to look into some of these plans because the desperation is real right now. And a lot of the stuff that you're seeing in the media, especially with the self-deletions, these are not self-deletions. These are setups. So I want to talk about some of these setups, and I want to look a little further in because, as you know, I've been gang stalked since a child. The one who is at the head of that is the wildebeest that I used to call a mother, but that just even sounds gross to even call her that now. But if you guys haven't checked out my Karmic Mother playlist, please do. It will sound extremely familiar to you. And it's a few reasons for that. You have some readers who are genuine intuitive. So they're going to pick up on that sometimes, especially with the purpose of it is. They're going to pick up on that. However, you have your karmic readers who are a part, either was initially already a part of it or one of the ones who accepted the money, took the bait, and started doing that. They're all on the same accord. And I'm not talking about the real intuitives who pick up on it sometimes. I'm talking about the ones who upload multiple videos a day, every day, about the same story. And that's me when it comes to the karmic mother and the inheritance, the one who lied in court, stole the inheritance, doing all this stuff in court, trying to make it seem like she's crazy with the identity theft and the destiny swap. My storyline, the demonic couple that you're hearing a lot about, with the destiny swapping, the insurance money, wills and stuff. That's my demonic mother. And the download warlock, she had me in a false marriage in. And all of these are Mason's Eastern stars. So this isn't just a local thing. This is happening on the city level, state levels, everywhere. It's the same thing. And since this can't, oh, I forgot the third group that you hear talking about my life every day. It's just the NPCs. Main sign of NPCs, they have no internal dialogue. They just repeat externally. Plus, they're all programmed anyway. So they're all on the same frequency. But the reason why they're so desperate now is, these, first of all, this can't be stopped. They realize that this what's happening right now, the planet is already changing. This cannot be stopped. So what they're trying to basically do now, which isn't going to work, my gosh, it's not going to work. But what they're trying to do is get rid of all of the chosen ones, star seeds, source connected beings. That is happening really, really, really heavy now. Like I say, as far as, now let me say this, they just dumb as hell, but let me say this, you could energy harvest until your ass cheeks implode. It's not going to do any good, because number one, that worked in the last cycle. That is not going to work in this cycle. If your consciousness does not calibrate at 500 and above, it's not happening. People that are unhealed, who energy harvest, they are operating from their lower chakras. So their consciousness is in the 100 range and under. Usually when people are just evil, theirs is in the double digits. You're nowhere near 500. You have to be operating from the heart center in order to make it through that portal. It doesn't matter. You could catch a body a day, an energy harvest 24 hours a day. With the universe going back into balance, everything is coming back. It already started hitting them. And these frequencies, you could see the way people are snapping now. It's not going to work. It is not going to work. Like I said, you could do all the dirt. It's not going to work. So what they're trying to do now is bind themselves to you. They're doing everything they can to get you caught up and trapped in the old cycle while they in energy harvest from people. Because what they are doing, which I've seen them doing, pulled on it and intuitively got from source, that they are putting cords. People that are connected to source, they are trying to attach cords and bind to each one of your chakras to drain you and try to put their karma on you. Here's the thing. If your mindset is like that, if you think like that, your consciousness isn't even close to where it needs to be to make it through that portal. Now, if you guys have never heard of the Carrington event that happened, and I think it was 1859, somewhere 1850s. You might want to look that up, because at that time they had a big solar flare hit, and when that hit back, I mean that was in the 1800s, so of course they didn't have what we had now, but they had like a telegraph system that like fried out. That was down. So if we had something like that now, life as you know it will come to a screeching halt, because that will cook that power grid. Everything comes to a halt. Everything. That would be no power, no nothing. So that grounds, that's just going to stop humanity right there. The reason why people are seeing northern lights in places you have never seen northern lights before is because that the protective shield, magnetic field around the earth is coming down. Do have a big geophysical event that is going to happen. Plus we had a pole shift too. Okay, a big geophysical event is going to happen. They're trying to desperate to do this swap off. It's not going to work. Humanity is going two different ways. The ones who are able, who have the frequency, that are able to hold the light when that event happens, and the others that are not. Now, I think that was maybe like a couple of weeks when Elon Musk, one of his kids' mother, when they were discussing AI, and she was like, oh, about AI taking jobs, and she was just like, oh, well, you know, there are going to be millions of people that aren't, that aren't going to be here, saying that, how the population was going to go down. Millions of people probably like, what is she talking about? What is she talking about? Yeah, it's about right. That's why this desperation is happening right now. And even like with me, there's so many stories I could tell in this. If it comes up, I'm going to go deep into it. But like with me, I'm used to spell work all day, every day. I've been in spiritual warfare since the 70s. But what I noticed, because Source is going to show me things, and I noticed I had more strangers in my energy. And every time I do some cards on it, here come the core content creators. And I notice at the same time, that's when my story is being told even more. I'm talking about Source is going to show me all day, every day. And at the same time, going out of their way, because this has been happening since I started my channel, going out of the way to shadow ban, screw with my numbers, magic on it, everything. And I'm like, I'm just sitting back. Must not know. So I tapped in to see why they were doing that, and I got double confirmation. And when I pulled, let me say this, trying to bind to me on my contract by constantly telling that, you know, retelling these little quotes on here, this retelling, doing videos on me, basically just getting all your AdSense from talking about my life, thinking you're going to bind to that. The funny thing is, see, I've been in spiritual warfare since 1975. Crazy thing is, that's the only thing you bound yourself to that. That's crazy. 50 years of hardcore. It was a reason for that. I agreed to go through that. But 50 years, that's what you got. But anyway, let's get back to what's more like what brought happening as far as these stage unravels. Now, this is a medical advice, but you may want to, people, if you know you had problems with stalking, even if you source connected, like I said, it's the desperations is out there. Another thing, be mindful about people keeping you looped in the past, because people are literally getting paid to energetically attach you. Because if you're constantly worrying about the past, hearing about the past, going through trauma bonding, hearing about that, that's energetically binding you to the past while people energy harvest on you. But back to what I was saying, activated charcoal, that's what I was guided. Look into that, because that does bind heavy metals in the system and pass through. But heavy metals are also good once people have been poisoned. And this is crazy, because this is the message I got. I knew it was when when I started looking, you know, seeing this stuff and getting the message like something is not right. But around this time last year, I was heavily poisoned. I was poisoned bad. And when I was poisoned, you know, of course, if you get poisoned like that, you're going to be down for a little bit. And after I was poisoned, it was heavy bombarded with energy weapons and around the clock death rituals. So this was in conjunction with the poisoning, hit you with energy weapons, and constant rituals. So the message I got was, when that happens, whatever was in that, if you do pass away from that, it gets ruled suicide. Now, after that happened to me, several days after it happened, the first time I had stepped outside, I had needed to take trash out. I went out to the parking lot and I got creeped. Just the energy was so bad when I got out there, and I knew something was off, because they had two strange black SUVs with tinted windows. They were the exact same SUV. Nobody sitting in cars outside, but had one on one side of the parking lot and one on the other side of the parking lot in the back of the building. And both of them had men sitting in those SUVs. And I, clear as day, got the message. Or they were expecting you to die. So when they do this, they already have people on site waiting for the person to pass away. And I did, when I first started this channel, I did a short showing the card. That's what I found out, that my mom had already had my funeral planned, and this was right after my dad's suspicious death. So that's one of the setups they're doing, trying to get you out of here. Heavily with mental magic, especially trying to drive people crazy, which my mom has successfully did with her own doggone friend, which was so messed up. But the only way they want you alive is in jail or the mental institution. And I think like that R&B singer, Sammy, I think, he had just spoke on, like, because his mom is in jail. They targeted her, and she ended up unaliving somebody. So she's in jail. So we have those type of setups. With that, the mind is so important right now. It doesn't matter what they do. It's not going to get them anywhere, because they're not getting a new start. And not only that, they're getting all of that karma back. But it's just real good to be mindful and don't get caught up in these traps. And another thing that they are doing is with trying to set people up, they are hacking into Wi-Fi. And with me, they did that. That just started like really bad a few weeks ago, with hacking into my Wi-Fi, so desperate to keep me off of the internet, which I've been working on something else anyway, plus I'm in school. But hacking into my Wi-Fi and then hacking into my devices and blocking the Wi-Fi from the devices. And the message that I got when that was happening is, what they're going to be doing is hacking into Wi-Fi, doing files, things on your Wi-Fi to set you up and make it look like you're doing it. So if you even feel like you're being hacked, it's good to keep your passwords changed. Notice when weird things are happening with your Wi-Fi, and if you can, factory reset devices, or just get a new one altogether, because that is something else that they're trying to do. But when I say the desperation is so, it's funny that I'm recording, because number one, I know, see, like while I'm recording this video, I know they're looking at me now, because the person I was in a false marriage, the warlock that my mom had me in a false marriage with, that's what he did for the army. He was a telecommunications tech, and that's the reason why my mom, you know, hooked up that false marriage, because she is so disgustingly obsessed. This bitch is sick. And the fact, it's crazy to do mental magic, still trying to swap destinies with somebody in your 80s. 80s. Now, how long your thick back ass think you really gonna be here? But anyway, I want to see, because I know they are plotting, and the guy can tell when people do spell work on me. That's how I know they're eavesdropping. When I said that, I could tell when people trying to harvest my energy, and they doing it right now. But I want to see what because I know they're running by all kind of different things. One the things that I did pick up on is planning kidnapping. Another one, a home invasion, to make it look like a home invasion, robbery gone wrong. And another one is trying to get someone to attack me, make it look like I got into a fight with somebody and they stabbed me at the store or whatever. Okay. I have never in my life seen somebody who wanted to be somebody else so bad. It is pathetic. No, I have some more. I'm going to check my energy now, because this is funny. It's funny and it's sad. And these are the people, I'm talking about people in higher positions. We're talking about in the courthouses, judicial system, police departments. And one thing, because all of these are some child predators. You know, last summer, I did a video talking about how, because the only thing that I couldn't piece together was connecting my mom to because I know these people are tied to the traffic of young persons and women. And as soon as I got that information and it came to me, I mentioned, I said that I was talking about that in the video last summer, and ever since then, non-stop. And the parish that I said that this out in the country, the parish where I said that they have a house out there that is patrolled by police officers, where they do rituals and it's tied to traffic and there's dark stuff going on out there. Not long after that, actually, it's still sitting in the community tab. The first one was in that parish, but just so happened 2 police were chasing him and he just happened to get away. Surprise, surprise. I posted his picture and that, the stuff in the post. But ever since then, it has been nothing but at least a few a week of child corn people tied to that been getting arrested. As a matter of fact, I haven't even been keeping up with the news. I just go to their page every now and then, and it's been like 2 in like the last 6 days. It's crazy. Let me check my energy. Let's see who this is. I just want to see what kind of plots, because it's not just me, they're plotting. These are the kind of plots that are, it's kind of happening all over. Just to be mindful, but make sure as far as your consciousness and what you keep your consciousness on is really important, because right now they want you to focus on them. They want you to focus on the betrayal. They want you to constantly be focused on the karmics, because they need the energy from that. Start them. Divine Spirit, can you give me a message about the energy around me? What is the energy that I'm picking up on right now? Oh, this kind of a lot flipped over. Of course, I would see throat come out with that, but I'm not going to keep those tears. This is kind of happening with everybody. These are attacks. They are trying to, and this is not just me. This is the collective. They are actively trying to weaken your auras, because let me tell you, the chosen are protected unless they actively choose to lower their frequency and getting that. That's one different thing. You're protected right now. They are collectively trying to tear your protection. They're trying to break down your protection. Love what I just say. The X, that's the part of the demonic couple everybody's talking about. I just said this. This is one of the things that's trying to drive me crazy. But number one, you've been trying to swap destinies with me for 50 years. You the mental health and a damn fool, if you're being honest. Reversal. Cause let me tell you, I know here we go, sound, what you see, I have that on right now. But the solar plexus, of course, that's your power center right there. Throat tried to pop out. Oh, that's too many. Block eased on out of there. It's been so many I can't even, this is a lot. Family, water therapy. And that's a good thing. Like when you take showers, always call upon the light, because the light is consciousness. Pull that through the shower and clear with that. But we have, look at this spirit. This is like the worst. This is like death rituals. This is like the worst. Sacral, block again, and holes in its energy harvesting, and family came out. That was a lot, but like I said, the mental magic and the energy harvest, that's what I said, and the mental health, and that's what's here. And I'm just going to get one more, and that's who came up. Karmic jumped out the deck and jumped back in. I'm surprised, since it didn't come out, because I could do a whole video on that. The co-work didn't come out, but when I'm got to talk about that, I will, because it's a whole, it's a lot more. Like I say, anytime I do a video, is directed by Divine Spirit. And the last time I did a video talking about like this self in my situation, I was guided to say 2 words that that kind of put a different, gave a little bit of information, but at first I didn't, I knew why they wanted me to use those specific 2 words, and I did it, and like within 2 days, multiple people just repeated the same 2 words. I was like, that's why they wanted me to say it. Okay, Divine Spirit. What is my mother and her minions planning? I already pre-shuffled it. What are their plans? And trust me, I couldn't get around this video because I did not want to talk about her ass, and I avoided it. But for some resources like that, we need to talk about it. What are their plans? Ooh. That's correct. Oh, okay. Divine Masculine and Retribution, Poetic Justice. And this is something that's crazy. Who, as you can see, she didn't stop this. That's crazy. I have never, and she's always been like that. To me, that is so crazy that and this, I've seen this with other karmic mothers too. They do not want their daughters in loving relationships. But this is, I didn't realize how bad it was until I started realizing years ago what had happened. That is absolutely sick. The way she is disgustingly obsessed with my love life. Ew. Yes. You stop that one. These 2 fell right on top of my hand. Intimidation, dirty money, illegal activity, toxic love, and finesse. Now, the stuff that these tactics they try to do, number one, let me say this. This is how, when I say the way you see things, changing your perspective could change everything. As far as that intimidation, I this whole have to sit trying to unalive me. Ain't no fear of me, because you know what? If anything, all you doing is gassing up my lower self. You that desperate to walk in somebody else? You so desperate to walk into my energy. Yeah, that's your life. Illegal activity. I know what this is. This is what I just mentioned. On top of the inheritance, the the money that you stole that my dad left, what I just mentioned about that ring, about that illicit stuff, this is that too. These y'all some sick people. I'm trying to keep it cute, but if I start roasting, all bets off. What else are they planning? What do I need to know of? Burdens starting to come back, huh? Mountain pressures. I already know. Let me say this. Everybody that walked into this was crazy. About 2 years ago, I did a video, telling, people how to access their pre-birth planning sessions, because that'll give you a deep perspective of why you went through the trauma that you went through. I mean, it could really change. You will see your traumatic experiences completely different when you actually sit in those meetings and watch, because you'll be like I say, all monitoring spirits, art, and sometimes it's you on another plane, because that's how it was for me when the first time I sat in on my pre-birth planning sessions. Two beings escort you, I guess, to that realm, and you're in a room and you're like looking at your higher self, and beings, your team, and maybe a high council, planning your chart. And when I heard, because I'm sitting up there just making, it was things, traumatic experiences that I had already went through, and when I saw me just finding extra ways to make it harder and harder, I started hollering on the other side of the room. And then I remember after that, asking like, why, because it's like I wasn't there, but I was in the corner of the room. And I was told, can you hear a gnat holler? And I was like, alrighty then. I mean, if I see stuff flying, if there's another version of me, it'll be hiding somewhere. But if I see them, I'm still going to spray you down. But that was interesting. And I also said on there that my middle name was Bait. The amount of people that just walked up into this setup is crazy. A naughty secret. I can tell you what that secret is. That is the demonic couple. My mother and her son-in-law, who doesn't even like women. But she looked and act like a man, so I guess it works out. What else do I need to know at this time? Sitting on the pedestal. Ego, like the typical narcissistic person. Baby, the way you about to fall off of that. Love affair. Clickbait. Taking action. Irreversible temptation. Well, irresistible temptation of taking action. Hold up. I know it. Why do I feel like this was something else? I'm going to move to let me see. Because I don't think this scam. avoidance, unresponsible, missed calls, and messages left unread. Avoidance, deceitful. You know what? Somebody got caught in something. Hot and cold. Live rent free. Let me see. I never use this. I never use this deck, and then I'm gonna move to the other cards. I don't know why I went to shuffle them like this. No, I really need to put my glasses on. You know, I bet you that's probably why. It's probably why they're hacking into my Wi-Fi. Tunnel vision, focus, and obsessive. Because these people really sitting around waiting for something that's not going to happen. Secret escort. Dirty money. Can I see something? I want to know if this is with adults. Self-medicating. Somebody's selling ads. Vindictive. Desire for revenge. Look. That's what she looked like too. Want revenge because you can't walk in somebody else's energy. Fool. Ain't no fool like an old fool. Mother Superior complex. Free pass to act apparent due to female privilege. Look at that. That's the ringleader right there. The mother. Secret. I'm gonna have to look into that. How much? I'm gonna have to make some more room on my phone. I didn't see anything. Acting fake for clout. I don't know why I'm getting something about people sleeping with people in authority positions and in the courthouse. Because I always pick up on like eating disorder and demoted. Okay, it's getting weak here. Let me pull some before this guys, what do I need to know about their plans. I'm gonna make some room up in there because it's something else I need to look at. What do I need to know about their plans? Or what do I need to know about them? Because you know what? I should have asked that at first, because your plans ain't going nowhere. What do I need to know about the wicked old lady game? I'm sick. But boo-hoo. Three of Swords. Star. And a Ten of Cups. She ain't stopping nothing. She heard about it. When I do, what's another one I want to Six of Cups. That's, you know, and to me, it was so messed up. The Strength and Ace of Swords. You know what? Things about to go down. Here's the thing. She already knew that she was blocked. But she felt that if she could round up enough people that she could force a change. But instead, all she did was lead people into a trap. Nine of Cups, Knight of Pentacles. I'm still gonna get my wishes. See, here's the thing. This is what people don't realize. The 3D, the false matrix, that's already collapsing. Your thoughts are things. Each thought, you are telepathically broadcasting out energy, which manifests for you. With that 3D falling, that's going to manifest quicker. But since the frequency is going up, that inversion is reversing. People don't realize that they have already manifested their own downfall. Like I said, the reality is going to split. Of course, some are sin with the ones who didn't do the work. When that event happened, yes, it will be a passing of the physical vessel, but that is, there will be in a reality somewhere else. This is the only thing that what I keep being shown. The people who are energy harvesting, taking from other ones, jealous of other ones. Let me tell you what they are actually manifesting. Now, I want you to look at the countries that already have digital ID. Now, your whole likelihood is tied to that ID. Now, if you look, I think in India and China. With that digital ID, all they have to do is cut you off. Hit a button. And you're out. You can't do anything. You can't work. You can't eat. Even in China, they have apartments. You have to, they use your biometrics just to go in and out of your own apartment. A lot of those, well, I think in India, they already have people that have starved there. And they were talking about how many more people are homeless. I saw where like a lot of people in China are homeless because once they disconnect, they don't like your social score, or you do anything that they don't like, That's it. You can't do anything. You can't live. You can't buy groceries. You can't work because everything is tied to that digital ID. So for all the people who've been living it up in the 3D and have been so accustomed, because a lot of these people that do that, they've been doing this for thousands of years, just the same cycle, never evolved, never learned, because they feel they didn't have to until it just wasn't going to work anymore. And that's where we are now. So the people who are still doing that right now, because it's some hateful people, and there's some people doing some foul stuff right now. Let me see, I have a few minutes. There's some people still doing some foul stuff right now. It's not going to work. The type of reality that you manifested is one where everything gets taken away from you like that. And like I said, when the planet is due, when that happens, no amount of energy harvesting, because the more you do that, which they don't realize, and that's the lower you vibrate. You're not, and NPCs, they would never going to get a new start anyway. And the ratio of NPCs to source connected humans is 5,000 to 1. So that gives you an idea. That's why when some people were like, what was she talking about? I was like, oh yeah, that's accurate. It's just not going to happen. But it is extremely important that you don't get caught up in these traps right now, because right now it's a lot of desperation, especially with this, because a lot of these people that they're saying taking themselves out, they're not taking themselves out. So if you feel inclined, I would suggest you look up activated charcoal, things like that, to bind metals, because the trickery is on. And even some, I could tell with this one girl, somebody had unalived her, and it was so obvious that you could tell that the whole freaking town was on it. Because how you go somewhere to search for somebody and you don't see anything, your dog search, but then somebody calls you and tells you that she's in that spot, and you go back and she's there, and everybody is blaming the police, like, oh, why they didn't find her, nobody is like, all the frustration went to the police, like, what about the person who called? It's kind of obvious that they put her there after the fact and probably called you up. And for the, I'm sorry, I'm just going to say it. Anytime you have everybody ignoring the elephant in the room, and it looks so forced and staged, trying to shift the blame here, and then you have the mayor stepping in, asking people for gift cards and food for the family. I could see if it was funeral expenses, but why you need gift cards to go shopping because someone passed away? And unfortunately, that's how it is for me. The family has something to do with it, with these setups, and that is happening. That's crazy. As soon as I pick this up to put it over, the devil's sitting right at the bottom. So that's wild. Oh. Two of Pentacles, Five of Wands. Leave these people behind. My thing is about to cut off. I'll be back. I'm going to make some room because it's something else. This is going to be an extension of something that I talked about like a year and a half ago. It's going to be wild, and some people about to really be pissed. But guys, make sure you keep that frequency up, and do not be pulled into the loop of focusing on the old, because that's what they want. They need you to actually focus on them because they need that energy. They siphoning from everything. Keep your chakras clean and your mind clear. So thanks guys, and I'll see you in the next.